floating again, and we're in Sanford, Florida, right now at the downtown Sanford Marina. We probably want to go back and do a quick recap as far as where we're at on our loop adventure if you're just joining us and haven't been following along. But we started our loop adventure back in 2022. We got hit by a couple hurricanes, which delayed us. And then last year, we basically went down the coast of Florida, spent 3 months in the Keys, and then June, July, and August, we worked our way up the East Coast, hit Jacksonville, hung out in Jacksonville for hurricane season. We thought we were being smart and protecting ourselves, and then, of course, there were no hurricanes last year. But we did get some work done on the swim platform while we were there. And then all of a sudden December hit and it's too cold to keep going up the East Coast. So we decided to make a side trip and we came up the St. Johns River, which is actually heading south. So now we're in Sanford, which is north of Orlando. And our goal is to hang out here for January and February and then start heading back up to Jacksonville and up the coast as it warms up. So that's just a quick recap of where we're at on our journey.
Yeah. We because of multiple reasons and the fact that we stayed in the Keys for 3 months because we really like the Keys, we kind of got ahead or behind schedule. So wanted to come a little farther south, and I'm glad we did. I mean, right now it's probably in Orlando or up in Jacksonville. It's probably, what's the temperature up there?
I don't know. It's probably still in the 40s, but down here right now today it's in the 60s, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I golfed yesterday. The sun's been shining. So we're just, I think, far enough south. It was basically as far south as you can go via the river and lake system in Central Florida without having to go out. Unfortunately, there's no way to cut from here directly east to the ocean, the Atlantic. So we got to, in order to get to the coast, you got to go all the way back up to Jacksonville. So I don't think we'd want to stay here permanently. That would be a lot of back and forth, and that's a 3 or 4 day cruise going up and down the river. But it's a gorgeous cruise. I mean, it's very nice.
Well, and the good thing we're in freshwater now too, which the boat hasn't been in freshwater.
Not since we bought it.
Not since we bought it. So it's a good break on the engine, the diesel engines, and it's good for the boat.
The salt water is obviously a lot more corrosive and has a lot more things growing in it than freshwater. So it's good to flush the engines. I mean, even if you're always in salt water, it's something that's a maintenance feature that you should do or have done. I wouldn't do it myself. I've heard some horror stories of people have had to freshwater flush their engines in salt water and screwed it up. Ended up costing them over $100,000 to repair both motors after they thought they were doing preventative maintenance. So that was a backfire. So unless you really know what you're doing, I'd stay away from those major engine repairs.
Right. So we actually got back down to the boat on the beginning of January 4th. And today is actually, I think it's Tuesday. It's great being retired.
Tuesday, January 20th.
So I guess we should just fill them in on some of the fun things we've done while we've been here in Sanford to let people know about the area.
Sanford's a pretty cool little college town, although there's no college. But it has that feel. I mean, cobblestone, brick streets, bars everywhere, restaurants everywhere. It's safe. It's diverse culture-wise. I don't know. It's got a neat Athens kind of vibe to it.
Yep. And it's cool. It has a really nice river walk. I think we talked about in our last podcast, which is great since we have the e-bikes. We did rent a car though when we got here this time because we knew we had some friends here that wanted to golf up in the Palm Coast area. So we did get a rental car.
And we wanted to go up to we wanted to go to the Daytona International Speedway, which is about a half hour, 40-minute drive. So yeah, there were some places that we wanted to get further to. The bikes get us. We can get 6-8 miles out on the bikes. After that, though, we took the bikes to the zoo, which was about a 4-mile trip.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. And actually, we went back to the zoo last night. They had a really neat light show that we took some video and pictures, and we'll put that out there. But last night was the last night for them doing it. The place was uh, sold out. So it's a great little walkable 3-hour zoo that for the little time we're in, it's pretty cool.
It was cool. And it was called the Asian Lantern Festival. And I think it was here through the holidays, and they had it scheduled so that you could go different times so everybody wasn't there at one time. But it was really pretty. They had a lot of moving lights and a lot of displays. And we did take some videos, so we'll make sure and attach some of those too. But yeah, that was really fun. So do you want to talk about I thought one of our highlights is the Daytona 500, the VIP tour that we took.
Mm-hmm.
We, I had never been to a racetrack before, so for me it was a new experience. And we had a really good guide named Jimmy, and we were actually on a tram, and we went into the main area of the track, and actually were able to get up into like the fan zone, and they had some practice cars going around the laps. But what did you think? What did you think of the whole
Well,
experience?
I've been to tracks before, so I was a little less surprised, I think, by some of that. But yeah, it was neat getting in and seeing the history. There was a museum there, and you know how I am with museums. So a lot of cool stuff. We took a lot of pictures, a lot of Dale Earnhardt stuff, Richard Petty stuff. But they had dragsters, and they had F1 cars there, open wheel cars. They had the Porsche and the Ferraris and all the exotic cars there. We would actually went back this last weekend on Saturday because they were doing the Roar before the 24, which is this weekend, and that's on Peacock on TV if you guys want to check it out. But it's the
Rolex 24.
Rolex 24. Yeah, they're doing, and that is road course. So it's not the oval. They dive into the infield and do all the curves and everything, and then jump back out on the track for half a lap and then dive back in. So it's a pretty exciting race, and it's a 24-hour race. So there'll be headlights and all that during the night. There's 4 drivers that jump in and out of the cars to complete the 4-hour track. And what's cool is in Batavia, in our back home, Wright Motorsports, WRIGHT, John Wright, I met him 20 years ago while out selling and doing my thing with Express. And they're down here. Didn't get to meet John. He wasn't here, but the crew was there, and we got to talking about Batavia and all of that stuff. But we're gonna tune in, I think, somehow and watch that and see how those guys do this weekend.
So one of the coolest things that I saw, I had no idea, but when you go around the turns at the Daytona 500, those turns when you're on the field, they're 4 stories high. So as the cars go around, it's amazing to see how high the wall actually goes on those
Yeah, I
turns.
think it's like a 32-degree um, slope
Slope.
on the turns, and it's loud. My goodness, those cars are running. But yeah, it's something that you should take in if you've got some time. I mean, the tour only took 2 hours,
Two and a half
two and
hours.
a half hours, and then
But we learned a lot. There's a 4 acre lake in the middle of the track, too, which I had no idea. And I think he said they had 65,000 bass
bass.
that are in the middle of that lake. And the way they formed that lake is they tore all the dirt out to build the turns, the walls, and that's what formed the lake in the middle.
Yeah, and then
So
they
that
stocked
was
it.
really cool.
They stocked it with bass, and the drivers and people fish, but they got to put the fish back. You're not allowed to keep any of the fish. That's the rule.
Yeah. So that was a really fun day. I really enjoyed it. We even got to go up on the top where the spotters all sit. So the spotters are the people that are
Talk to the drivers.
talking to the drivers and keeping track of their times and telling them strategies and all that. So we were way up high where the spotters were. So that was cool too.
Yeah, so if you're into NASCAR for sure, put it on your list. And depending on the time of year, you can get down here for some of the road course events. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I think like we said, we got back on January 4th. We'll give a shout out to Buster's Bistro.
Yeah.
We had dinner there. So Nick, you can put that on the map.
They're great, very dog friendly. They have a great Reuben sandwich and a great French dip, and just a real cool bar atmosphere, very friendly bartenders, and just a nice environment.
It's got a German flair to it. A lot of beers on tap. A lot of German beers, especially on tap. Tried a couple, which actually I didn't like. I mean, never knew there was a beer I didn't like. I don't like IPAs, but there were a couple of things I was trying just to be different. And yeah, but all in all, great dinner. Met up with our friends, and then we golfed at their course up in Palm Harbor, like Deb stayed. Then we went over to the Hard Rock Hotel, which is a little dated, I would say. I mean, nice, but I mean, we're used to like Hard Rock down in Fort Lauderdale and some of the other Hard Rocks we've been to. This one, I just think has been around a little while. It needs a little.
But it was right on the ocean,
Yeah.
which worked out great for us. It was only 20 minutes from the two different golf courses. And we found a nice restaurant there too called, was it Jimmy's on the Riverside? Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
I didn't write it down, but I think that's what that one was called. So it was kind of fun because when we went by Daytona in the boat, we didn't stop. When we went up the intercoastal, we just went through. So it was kind of fun to have the car and to be able to go explore and see what Daytona was like.
Yeah, we had a great view. We were up on the eighth floor, and the ocean was. It's weird though. The ocean here and the beaches here are so different than what we're used to on the Gulf side, where it's sandy. It's either sandy, like white sugar sand over there, or shelly, where a lot of shells and things come in around Sanibel and Captiva. Over here, the beaches, people drive on them.
They're flat.
They're hard and flat. People bicycle on them. People park their cars on them. So it's a totally different kind of beach experience. Which, I'm more of a sandy beach kind of guy.
Yeah, but we saw dolphins.
Yeah.
We had a balcony and we were able to see the dolphins play out there. So it was kind of fun.
The next day, we played a course called the Grand Reserve golf course, and actually had dinner there. It was an interesting place. It was a public course, but it had a very country club vibe to it. They had live music, and everybody in that area goes to the restaurant there at the golf course. I mean, and it was good.
It was good.
I mean, they had a specials board, and they were having birthday parties there. I mean, it was the golf course. I'd give it a 6 or a 7 as far as, but the social aspect of the club, the practice range, get ball machines and you can hit balls and whatnot there. So I liked it better than the Palm Coast course, I think.
Yeah. It was nice. It was fun.
Okay. We talked about the Speedway tour and we found a PF Chang's that night.
Oh, yeah. And we got 2 new chairs for the bow of the boat at West Marine. We're pretty excited about their high back. And you can recline the backs into 4 different positions. So now when we're riding on the bow, we have comfortable chairs with cup holders and place for our cell phone. And so I'm looking forward to trying those out.
That PF Chang's was in a kind of like a Rookwood for Cincinnati folks, kind of a community of restaurants, and there was a nice hotel there. and a fountain, a play fountain for the kids to play in.
And that was right across from the Daytona 500
You
track.
can actually
Right
there's a
across.
bridge. There's actually a walking bridge. So if you park at Daytona and you don't want to move the car, you can walk across the interstate and get to this place. And there were all the chains, restaurant chains, just a pretty intense retail area. It was fun.
It was nice. So my next adventure that I want to talk about, I don't know what you have on there, is our dinghy day,
Oh yeah,
our exploration of our dinghy day. So one thing that we have to worry about is we are low on our diesel fuel right now. We have probably what, a quarter tanks left,
yeah.
and we're going to need diesel before we head back down the river, back north to Jacksonville. So we saw that there's another marina close to us that can get diesel. So we decided to take the dinghy and do an adventure down that canal to see if it was deep enough, mainly for us to be able to take CD in to get back there. So we're just tooling along, right? Having a nice little dinghy day adventure, the sun's shining, and we're all of a sudden we get to a house, and on the tree out in front, there's a big yellow sign that says Gator Crossing. So we started to look, and as we went a little bit further on the left hand side on the bank, there's a huge gator laying there. He probably had to be what, 8 foot maybe?
Oh, he was bigger than
You
that.
think he was bigger than that?
He was as big as the dinghy, bigger than the dinghy, and the dinghy's 15 foot.
So that was a little frightening.
Not
That's not the right
not
word.
until he started to move. I mean, he was kind of laying there. You know how like you don't even know if they're alive or not. They're laying there, and Deb's standing up and taking a video, and he starts to move, and she's like, "Oh, we gotta go." And I'm like, "Well, you better sit down first, because I don't want you ended up in the water." And you're thinking, okay, what could this gator possibly do? But a gator could, we're on air tubes basically in the dinghy, so
Just come do a chomp, and there goes the air tube.
yeah. And there was a story here recently about a husband and wife that were in a canoe down here, and
That happened in May down here in Kissimmee, Florida.
they were in a canoe, and they paddled accidentally over a gator. They didn't see it, they didn't know it, and the gator startled the gator, tipped the canoe, knocked them both into the water, and the gator ate the wife, basically. Grabbed the wife and did a death roll and killed her. And he did everything he could to help, but I guess it didn't go after him. But those kinds of things are going through.
They're in your brain as you're laying there watching this gator on the side, and he starts to move. So anyway, we kept going, and we got down to the marina, and we saw two more alligators. One was actually swimming back in the back where the boats were, but you could really only see their head. And then there was a small one as we were going back out, and he just stared at us the whole time. Like, we've got a video where his eyes are just watching, he's tracking us as we moved along on the dinghy. So that was, I wanted to see alligators on this trip, and I got to see alligators. So
Yeah,
that
and
was fun.
I'm sure we're not done seeing them. As we head back up, we're probably going to see a lot more.
Yeah, but that was exciting. Okay. What else? You've worked on the bathroom. You've fixed
Yeah,
a leak in
just
the shower.
the showers
Boat
were
repairs.
there was a little bit of water coming out around the doors. So I did some maintenance, caulked some of the doors, and cleaned some of that stuff up. Been watching a lot of football, both here and at restaurants or bars or whatever, with the NFL playoffs going on. And last night's game, college game, the Indiana Miami game, pretty amazing. So we checked that out last night.
I've got a couple other places we've stopped if Nick wants to add them to the map. We went to a small brewery called
Wops
Hops.
Hops.
Wops Hops, and we also found a really cool wine room called Ellen's Wine Room, which is directly across the street from Wops Hops. And we sat in there on a Thursday night. They have food, and we had some pot roast and drank some wine, and had a really good conversation with a couple that was at the table next to us. He filled us in on every
Henry.
Henry. His
Hen-
name Henry.
Henry and his wife. So we told him about all the Henrys in our family, but was very in tune with the town. And I actually bought him a bottle of wine because he gave us so much information about the area, where to go, what to do. Found out that we'd missed an Eagles tribute concert
At the theater.
the previous night that we missed, and he's actually at the theater and he helps with the programming or whatever. So now we know all the cool shows that are coming to town, and there's some cool shows. A Queen um, band, tribute band, lots of things going on in this little town. I mean, it's a little secret hidden gem when it comes to just walking around. And if you're into that kind of stuff, antique stores, museums, shops, you name it,
And
it's in town.
Saturday we found they were having a Volkswagen, a
Oh
VW
yeah,
car and rally show, and we had a blast
we
walking
did.
around
We
looking
had,
at all
and
the
we'll
new
show you some pictures of that. But just so you know, I've had a couple Volkswagens in my life. One was a family car. It was like a '71 Super Beetle, and then when I went off to college, we found a '60. I think it's a '65. It was a '65 camper bus. You know, the pop up top, and the VW goes like 50 mile an hour with a tailwind. Well, there were just a ton of all of those cars there, along with some Porsche and some other cars. But we found basically our truck, our van. I think I don't know if it was an
camper.
exact year or not, but it was pristine. So I was talking to the guy, and just someone interested in, like, I buy this from you. Is it for sale? And he's like, well, 130,000 and it's yours. So, that's how pristine and nice
It was
this. It was
beautiful.
perfect. Everything worked. Not a. I mean, the paint was like a mirror. I mean, it was.
And the cool thing, the front windshields flipped up in front. Ours
Ours.
didn't have that, but it was really
No,
awesome.
that was an interesting. Basically, every day they have something going on. It's either a food festival, or they had a Martin Luther King festival yesterday at a big parade downtown. They closed off the streets, so there's no lack of not having things to do here.
Right. It's awesome. We ate dinner at a place called the
Grill.
Swampwater Grill, which is right on the St. Johns River, and we actually passed it in the boat on the way here. So since we had the car and we were in that area, we stopped and ate dinner there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you found a really cool bourbon and cigar bar.
You found it.
I found it, but I didn't partake in it like you did. But it was called Blend and Barrel, and it was really nice on the inside.
Real classy wood decor, high end place. You go in, smoke a cigar, and mostly, I mean, they had beer and wine, but primarily it was a bourbon bar. Actually, they had a bourbon there that I didn't know about. From what's the
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace, which is my favorite distillery. I couldn't believe she actually had a flavor there that I'd never tried before. It's Taylor's.
EF
It was
Taylor, I think we got a
Taylor's,
picture of it.
very rare. I mean, not like Pappy rare or Pappy expensive, but still something I never had before. And so learning something every day.
And the only bad part about that one was when we walked out, we smelled like an ashtray. And our clothes still smell like an ashtray. And they've been outside airing out on the boat for 2 full days and they still smell like an ashtray. So I think I'm going to have to do laundry today.
Oh, today?
Probably.
Okay. And then yesterday we had tea times at DeBerry Golf Club, Country Club, and Deb wussed out.
It was cold.
It was almost 60 degrees by one
By the time
o'clock.
you were done, it started out, it was 40, and that's too cold for me to golf. So,
Yeah, we got to the golf course. It was 50-50 when the sun was blaring. I mean, I only had one layer on, so we were fine.
you're a
But
manly man, though.
I played.
I'm a fair weather golfer.
I played with a good buddy of mine who lives. He's actually from northern Kentucky. I've known him a long, long time. We played he and they paired us up with a couple of other guys. Of course, it was a little rough.
Well, it was a good thing I stayed here though, because they delivered our back cushions. We had our back seats recovered with fresh upholstery, and they look beautiful.
Yeah.
So I was here so that he could bring the seats back. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, they were planning on bringing it on Tuesday, but when I was golfing, they sent me a text saying we're done. We could bring them today. So Deb took care of that. But yeah, they look really good. The seats, they were 20 some years old, and they were just starting to yellow in the sun. Just needed a little TLC, so we had them redone. And glad we did.
Yeah.
The company did a great job. I don't remember do you remember the name of the company?
Three Lions Upholstery.
Three Lions. Yep.
Upholstery.
Like the big cat upholstery.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. Very professional.
Yeah.
Came out to the boat, took his shoes off. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and I think that's it for upholstery for a while.
Yeah. I think we're good. And I think that catches us up to where we're at. So
yeah, it's another beautiful day today. One thing that I'm excited about adding to our podcast here is I got a drone, a nice new cool drone, and I'm gonna start incorporating videos from it once I have learned it well enough where I don't crash it into the water. Which it's probably going to be kind of hard to do. It's a DJI, so it's pretty automated. I mean, it works off my iPhone. I mean, I'd really have to be, I don't know, terrible at it to actually crash it. But today, that's what I'm going to do. It's a little windy, but I'm going to go out and play with it a little bit and learn more about. It's a very complicated, or I guess not complicated, but there's a lot of things you can do with it, with videos and how it takes the videos and whatnot. So interested in adding those videos to the channel here moving forward. Hopefully, I'll have some stuff for next month.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And then we're thinking maybe later this week, because the weather is going to get really nice. It's going to get up into the mid 70s, and no rain and no wind. So we're actually thinking about maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, taking the boat over, filling it up with diesel, and then doing a little cruise back up the river and anchor out for a couple of nights. The engines haven't run now for maybe a month.
Yeah.
So I don't like the engines sitting for too long without running them. So I think that's the plan for this weekend.
That sounds good. So just a reminder, if any of you are just listening on the podcast, make sure you go to our website, which is seadan.net, because we are adding a lot of content to the site. We now have a map that shows our journey with the marinas that we've stopped and the anchorages and golf courses and restaurants and bars. So, and we're also adding a lot of pictures and videos. So if you get a chance, make sure you go to the website and hit the subscribe button. And then every time we release a new podcast, you'll get a notification for it.
Yeah, and certainly hit us up with any questions, or if anything catches your interest and you want more information about a certain area or whatever that maybe you're thinking about visiting. Happy to share whatever information we have.
Sounds great. Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.